Hello, hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, Brittany. How are you?
I am good. Having
Okay.
good. It's a good day. How
Having a
are
few
you
technical.
today?
I'm good. We're having a few technical difficulties, and I just appreciate you doing this. For those of you who have watched and been watching and following, you may have noticed that we were not on air last week, and I just wanted to come and let you guys know that there's just been a little bit of a shift. Both of us have some things we need to do, especially spring break is coming. And so we're going to be taking a small hiatus. We don't know how long. And I just wanted to make sure that I was in communication because for me, completing things is an important place to work from when you're trying to create something else. A lot of times in our lives, relationships end, we leave jobs, we quit, we just stop doing things, we just stop engaging with people. And that actually doesn't mean that the thing that we're stopping doing is complete. And I want you to know there's nothing wrong between me and Brittany. Everything's fine. Um, just we're looking at how to get more followers, how to position this in a way that brings more impact. And so we're just going to take a brief pause. But it was really important for me to make sure that you, in your listening, were left complete. And that is,
That's
and that,
something that's important.
well, that, that capacity to complete things for people and not to just stop doing them is an important piece of communication. Sometimes people get completion confused with closure. And what they'll say is, I want closure. What you really want is completion. And completion looks like just dealing with what's there with no stories, no upset, just this is what we were doing. This is what we're doing now. And we have to stop in between to get from what we were doing, and what we're going to be doing. Um, and in the meantime, the part about completion that's important is you get to create what's next. You get to create what happens instead of the thing that you're doing. When people just stop doing what they're doing, when you just stop and there's no actual conversation, there's no actual communication, there's no actual process, it's like going 90 miles an hour and then just running into the wall. And a lot of people do this because they think it's easier than the slowing down or the conversations or the upset. And I've come to find that when I just stop doing things, it makes it super hard to trust myself when I need to start doing something else. And so I didn't want that for you, and I didn't want that for me, and I certainly didn't want that for Brittany, who's up to amazing things. So here's what's next. Uh, we need people to follow these lives. We need people to follow them and to share them, even the old ones that we've already done. That's one way that you can help. The other way that you can help is by submitting topics that you would like for us to talk about so that we are adding value when we're spending our time. The other thing is to go and book even a free session with either Brittany or myself, and to follow the other videos that are done with these chats, and follow some of the other providers who have been doing these calls as well. When we can establish a solid following, when we can know what topics we really want to talk about and we want to really focus on, then I'm sure we'll be back because I've enjoyed these. I know Brittany has enjoyed these. And people, even my mom watches these videos from time to time. And she hardly does anything with me in the realm of my work. She kind of tends to just let me have it. And if it's noisy, I apologize. It's raining outside. And so there was ways to contribute and to follow us. I have networking opportunities. We have networking opportunities you can be a part of. We have some cuddle sutras that are coming up. So I didn't want to just end things. I wanted to actually have an opportunity for people to say thank you, for people to share and to know what's next. Because even if it's just 15 minutes, these chats have been delightful. And I really want to acknowledge Brittany for taking the initiative to have all the little signs made that, that flash at the beginning, and curating an amazing group of people who have been contributing to these calls, because it's not just me and it's not just my call that's complete for now. All of the calls are going to be complete. So all the amazing people that you saw at the intro, we are all taking a hiatus from the chats. And I will be looking forward to what we can do when we do return. So, Brittany, is there anything you wanted to say about, the experience here? Because this was your baby. And so I just want to give you an opportunity to say what's there for you. Not to, put you on the spot or anything like that, but, what can we look forward to in the future? And what are you creating so that we can know what to do next?
Yeah, so DeVika really wanted to do a close, and my close, it's funny because DeVika and I had a conversation the other day about the difference between completion internally and externally. And this is a great example of an external completion. I don't externally complete. I internally complete. So my completion of this was sending an email to everybody who I have worked with and saying, hey guys, right now we need to build. We don't have enough following, and I have to reevaluate how our energy is and where it's put. Because without the followings, then the lives are falling on deaf ears. And I love them because I get to spend time with 5 of my favorite people. And we get to talk about life altering, world changing topics, and we get to create community. So it is a space for me. And yes, Sarah, everyone completes things differently. So it is a space for me, and it's one of my favorite spaces, but it's also a space that I use to avoid my other work. And therefore, I had to take a moment and say, you know what? There's things that I need to do that will make this actually productive. And instead of avoiding my productivity, I had to take a pause. We will be back. I love communicating. Sarah and Sophia are in the chat. The problem is the only 2 people in the chat are the people who have lives. We need more. So the idea is that in the next 5 to 6 months, the community grows, the outreach grows, people see us, and people start to interact with us. So you will still see some lives here and there from me. I'm on TikTok, and I'm going to start posting reels, and we're going to do what's necessary to build a following that will really hold the structure of what this is meant to be. We're here to help business owners. We're here to help individuals, especially with the conversation with DeVika. It's a sexological conversation. Business is involved in that. Personal life is involved in that. With Sarah and I talk about, your path in leadership and really just recapping what we've learned in the week. Sophia is an amazing Reiki, and she does so many things inside of holistic healing and putting people together. So giving completion is great, but I'm not completing this because it is a continuation. It's just on hold. And so I'm an internal completionist. I did it in the email. I was done. I was complete. We're doing this for DeVika and for the followers. And I think I did do a mini live at one point for my followers, but DeVika's correct. Like, we need to close it, let you guys know it's just on pause until we can see the fruits of our labor. And once I have a structure to where I can do this and not avoid the things that I need to do.
So thank you. And thanks for that. And I think it's really great because I think this is awesome in that it gives people access to, like Sarah said, people complete things differently. And when you have somebody who internally completes, um, that gives them access to transformation, that gives them access to change. And there's nothing wrong with that. But unless you're cutting people completely off and not communicating with them anymore, you want to let them know what's going on, because the people who do externally communicate or communicate or complete in communication, then they're left with something. They're left with like another experience where something happened and they don't know why. And while I can do both, my commitment and the reason why I was the demand to do this today, even with the technical difficulties, is that I, in the work that I do as a sexologist, I know what it is to have one more person fall off the face of the planet. I know what it is to have one more conversation just stop and you don't know why. And I am the place that people's negative experiences with those kinds of relationships gets interrupted. And the way that I do that is irrespective of how I complete, we get to complete it in your listening. And it was really super important for me to complete it in your listening. When I leave that listening whole, perfect, and complete, then when I return to it, there's nothing there. There's no like, my next video won't be like me explaining why we took so long or apologizing or having any of that stuff in the way. There will just be something clean, clear, and complete. And I hope that for all the times you didn't get that conversation, I hope that you don't take it personally. Brittany sending an email and being complete was not personal to me. It was not personal to Sarah. It was not personal to Sophia. But if you don't have that conversation, if there's somewhere in your life somebody left, they died, they moved away, they something happened, and they did not get the opportunity to complete in your listening, please use this time to complete in your listening. I remember last year when Steve from Blues Clues came back and made a video and completed in thousands and thousands of people's listening. And that's what we're doing here. Just
No, in Steve's defense, he told us he was going to college.
he did, but that didn't mean what it meant. It didn't mean to others what it meant when he completed. What happened was he went away. And he did what he did because he had the obligations he had. And again, it was not personal. It wasn't personal, but we make it personal. We make people's inability for whatever reason, whatever it is that stops them, we make it about us. This isn't about you. This isn't about me. It is about whatever it's about. And it's really intended to create a structure for success in the future. And
And
so I want,
as an internal completioner, I will let you guys know when she's saying it's not personal because we figure, hey, this communication or this isn't working. So we complete with that. We're good. We move on and we love life. If you have a problem and you were to reach out to us and say, hey, we're incomplete, we'll still complete with you. That's what we're doing. We don't have a problem doing an external completion. But once we've completed, you're out of sight, out of mind.
well, let's not say that because we don't want people to. I just created like people dying and going. So let's not do that.
Okay,
Let's be responsible
you're
for.
not out of sight, out of mind. What happens is we've completed, and so now we're complete. We don't need to hold on to the sorrow or the hurt or whatever it is that created us to have to close that chapter. We've let go of that. We hold on to the good. We hold on to the things that we held that relationship, and the reason why that relationship meant so much to us. We hold those. So if you come and you say, hey, we haven't talked, we'll talk. I am completely open to conversing and having conversations and closing things. So if you do have somebody in your life who you feel has like cut you off, or reach out to them and say, hey, did you complete? Because I'm not complete.
And that's and essentially that's what I did with Brittany. I said, look, I have, 15,000 followers, and whether they've all been following or if only 3 have been following, I want to make sure that they're left complete. And so it does take communication from both sides. And when the external communicators and the external completeners or whatever, when you do reach out, understand that you being complete is a phenomena that ultimately does happen over here with you. And if when you're looking for closure, you're looking for them to have some kind of trigger or want to admit what they did or didn't do, that won't bring you completion. What will bring you completion is what I did at the beginning, acknowledging what happened, the beauty, the good, the whatever, and being vulnerable that you're sad that it's over. A lot of you are looking for completion because you want this other person to say something or do something. And if they've already processed their completion, if they've already done that work, then what Brittany's saying is what you're looking for may not be available to you because you're still incomplete. But you can have that conversation as long as you're willing to be responsible for your side of the completion. And that takes work. I do that kind of work. Brittany does that kind of work. We both do it differently. I do it from more of a sexological and transformational approach where I'm going to hold you accountable in that realm. And Brittany is going to be more action oriented. Here are the actions that you need to take to get that complete, and she'll hold you accountable for that. Maybe without all the touchy feely stuff that gets involved that I take care of. So I really wanted to use this as an opportunity to bring healing to the people who do externally complete, and to bring acknowledgement to those who do internally complete. There is nothing wrong with that. It's just that when those two come together, we have to come together to bring completion to everybody around us as well, depending on our sphere. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for Sarah and Sophia being in the chat. Even if they are the only 2, they count. And
well, and that's what I was going to say is we do have people who watch the videos afterwards. We do have those things. The interaction is what we need during lives, though. The interaction, the actual lives and the shares and the likes, and we just want it to be of value for everybody. So once we have that built, and once we can see that community is being reached, then we will start again. And we look forward to that time.
Awesome. Until then, from that time to this time, may you find peace, may you find joy, may you find whatever brings you orgasm and bliss. And if you can't, then use the the QR codes over there, because they're here for me. They're that way for me. And reach out and let us support you in that. And take care till then. Thanks so much.
We'll see you guys soon.